Banks are joining the fight against human trafficking and international business that generates tens of billions of dollars. Banks are in a unique position to track these traffickers by monitoring suspicious financial transactions. Legal journalist Molly Barrows joins me to talk about this. As you know, Molly, we're launching a human trafficking litigation organization in the United States.
Yes.
That is just completely devoted to following human trafficking and prosecuting people involved. Not people, but corporations.
The platforms where they advertise.
For example, the first big, I think really big case that was launched in Texas against the truck stop industry, where I think it's a $43 billion industry, and it's all over the country. And they move these girls from truck stop to truck stop.
Nightmare.
It's a total nightmare. So here, it's an amazing thing. We've talked about using the banks as an avenue to go after, because they know exactly what's going on.
Yes.
We launched the case, as you know, on terrorism.
Yes.
And we said we found out the banks were washing money for terrorists. They admitted it. It wasn't any guesswork. They admitted it. They signed a document. This is the same thing, isn't it?
It's all about the money. It's always about following the money. And when you follow the money, you're going to find the trafficker, just like you find the terrorist, just like you find the other bad guys that you're looking for, because it's usually about following the money. And that's exactly what's happening here. So most recently, the Financial Action Task Force, which was created by the G7 some years ago in Paris, has been monitoring human trafficking for some time. And basically, as a lot of financial analysts know, unfortunately, the illegal, illicit, criminal world of human trafficking is just an extremely lucrative business. It has grown in the past 7 years, according to FATF, from a $32 billion a year industry to $150 billion a year. So what happens to that illegally gained money? It needs to be laundered.
Yeah, they don't put it in shoe boxes.
Right.
Okay?
They're not sticking it under the mattresses.
Exactly. And what we're finding in the terrorism business, where we know, I mean, you've got these banks admitting it. And even, by the way, even after admitting it, there was no prosecution from the DOJ. Biggest banks in the world.
They must be benefiting somehow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, must be. Yeah, we know who's benefiting, the banks and the politicians.
Yes.
But the point is, the Department of Justice actually had them sign a document. In the document, the banks were talking about the fact that, yes, we are laundering money. Next, we do know that it has an impact and human lives are lost because of it. Yes, we know that it's a terrorist organization. Even with all that, Holder's Department of Justice did not prosecute one person.
It's unbelievable.
So this is the same thing.
Yes.
They got away with it there. Now they're saying there's $100 billion out there. We can make a lot of money by washing these dollars. That's exactly what's occurring.
That's exactly what it is. And so I think you have agencies like FATF, as well as some U.S. law enforcement agencies who, going back as much as a decade ago, have been utilizing partnerships with certain banks. And in the U.S., it's J.P. Morgan Chase, Citibank, among others, that basically they say, hey, we have some red flag indicators that tell us somebody could possibly be laundering money as a result that was made as a result of human trafficking. These are the things we want you to look for. Will you let us know? And they have been doing that. It's been an effective partnership. Canada, in 2016, launched a financial watchdog group based on the testimony of listening to the victims of human trafficking and how everything from different levels of it, just your base pimp, if you will, with maybe a handful of girls, to entire networks and trafficking rings. And they were listening to these victims come forward and say, I was making all this money, of course, on behalf of what they were doing to me with threats and coercion, and then they would take my money and put it in a deposit late at night. So basically, they gave them all these different red flag indicators of small criminal organizations and large ones, and the banks started to work together. I mean, hundreds of tips have now come into police.
Look, the banks did not work together.
Well, in this particular case, they did, yeah, but you're right.
But
in general, not always.
In terrorism, they didn't work together because they were making so much money.
Yes.
And they only came and said, oh, we want to help after they were caught.
Yes,
after they were caught, they started saying, well, maybe we should do something about it. Let's see, we've made $50 billion. Maybe we've made enough money. Now we can start being the good guy.
We can feed a few bad guys to you.
Exactly. We're going to feed some low-end management people. And by the way, did not even get prosecuted there. Molly, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Fab.